How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. Crypto exchange Bitrex fights back against the SEC. So, the SEC charged Bitrex and its co-founder and former CEO, William Shapiro, in April 2023 of operating an unregistered exchange, as well as their other Bitrex global arm that they had. The SEC alleges that they coordinated with issuers to delete certain problematic statements that could lead to regulatory scrutiny. On June 30th, 2023, Bitrex and its co-founder and former CEO, William Shapiro, filed a motion to dismiss the SEC's complaint. Interestingly, on the same day, Bitrex Global announced zero trading fees for transactions involving Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, Dogecoin, and on its USDT markets. The motion to dismiss the SEC's complaint put forth by Bitrex argues that the crypto assets traded on the secondary markets are not securities and that the SEC lacks authority in this area under the Major Questions Doctrine. Additionally, Bitrex contends that the SEC has failed to provide fair notice of its claim, thereby violating due process. One of the arguments that XRP is making themselves. Revolut to delist Cardano, Polygon, Solana for US users. So the UK-based platform Revolut is banning US users from these coins. This will mean that US users will not be able to buy these coins, and if you have these coins at a later date, Revolut is set to automatically sell these tokens and credit the proceeds to the respective user accounts. So this is going to be an automated thing, and you're not going to have an option. So if you want your coins, you better hide them on a ledger or something. Vitalik Buterin stakes only a modest portion of Ethereum, and here's why. So Vitalik Buterin says that it's very complex to stay safe when you're staking, so he only stakes a small part of what he has. He says if you stake your ETH, the keys to access it have to be public on some system that's online. For safety, it has to be a multi-sig, and multi-sigs for staking are still fairly difficult to set up, and it gets complicated in a bunch of ways. So he's saying it's very hard to do it, and it's hard to stay secure and safe. That's why he doesn't stake all his coins. Charles Hodgkinson's kind of nudged him and said, well, that's a failure on Ethereum, as we have all of our coins staked, and any staking protocol should be able to have all their coins staked. So let me know what your opinion is. INTU introduced a cryptographic method to split private keys without needing a smart contract wallet, which is the kind of account likely referred to by Buterin when he's talking about multi-sigs. So this is a way to help save users from any security flaws that the smart contract could have and any vulnerabilities associated with those flaws. So this post was deleted, but Logan Paul 6 months ago promised that he would pay users back for CoffeeZill, and this linked to a video from I believe it was CoffeeZill again. Yeah, CoffeeZill. They had a video where they reached out to Logan Paul 4 times, once a month, for 4 months. On the 4th attempt, their lawyers said, hey, any future questions have to go through us, and we are working on a solution. So they were saying, we don't know how we're going to give users their funds yet, even though it's been 6 months. And don't talk to Logan Paul, even though he said he liked full transparency, and he already got public praise for giving people back their money, which he hasn't given $1 back. So our total market cap is getting a little bit of a pump up so far. Kinda looks like we could be topping out though, so I'd exercise some caution. Stochastic's trying to run up. RSI is kind of curling out. Momentum looks like it could start to curl. VWAP is getting lower highs, so we could see a curl off there as well, so I keep an eye on this. Our money flow is struggling to get through that neutral, and it looks like it may start to curl away from here. So we're not looking overall too strong currently, and we may see a little bit of a pullback, so I would keep an eye on the next few candles for sure. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are getting a little bit of a drop, so we got a decent red candle from yesterday. Stochastic is crashing down, momentum's coming down pretty hard, RSI is coming down pretty hard, our money flow is starting to round out, VWAP is starting to come out pretty strongly, so that's bringing our momentum down pretty fast. Over on our futures, we are pretty much topped out. We could have a double top here, a very sloppy double top. Stochastic is starting to pull away, RSI is starting to get lower highs and starting to head down. Momentum starting to round out, VWAP is still struggling to get anywhere, is trying to break bearish, but we're trying to cling bullish, so if we don't push down, we may see a roundup, but our money flow is still inching away, so we may see a drop. Over on Bitcoin, our stochastic is getting a little bit of a cross up, RSI is getting lower highs, so our RSI is showing signs of weakening, our momentum is starting to come down, money flow is struggling to get above a 6 and looks like it could start to round out. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, but not very strongly. That's why our momentum isn't really coming down very fast. If we kind of zoom out, we do have this channel where when we were around back here, I said we could see a little bit of a drop and then maybe a bounce up to around this zone. However, it's looking like we are losing some steam and we may start to pull back from here, at which point we could see our breakout a little sooner, maybe somewhere around here, and that could bring us down past that 20k gap that we have on the futures. Over on the 4 hour, we are riding around on our support resistance, trying to make it weak both ways. We don't know what we want to do. Our RSI is struggling to go anywhere. Overall, we're losing strength. Stochastic is trying to run up, but not really going anywhere. Momentum's trying to get a bit of a bounce, but our VWAP's starting to round out, so that could bring our momentum down. So we're not looking too strong here on the 4 hour either, in my opinion. Over on the 2 hour, our momentum's getting a red dot. VWAP's about to break through the neutral. Our money flow is starting to curl out. Momentum is about to crash. I just said that. Stochastic is starting to fall down. RSI is starting to curl away a little bit. So overall, we're not too strong looking here either on the 2 hour. And if this money flow starts to come down and go bearish, that could carry into the higher time frames, and we could see some downside from that. Over on the 1 hour, if you kind of take a zoomed out look, you can see we were ramping up pretty decently. However, we're starting to drop off on our money flow, so that's not too good. Our momentum's also getting lower highs, so we do have a bit of a bearish divergence here, as our price is trying to pretty much stay in this range, or pretty much in the same spot as right here, but we have a lower high in momentum. Stochastic is starting to come down, RSI is starting to curl down, momentum's coming down, that money flow is starting to come down, VWAP is in the bearish territory and starting to come down, so we're not overall too strong looking, and we may see a push down here as everything looks like we're pretty much overbought and we're struggling to even hold this range right now. Over on graph, on the daily, we are getting a little bit of a indecision candle, long lower shadow candle, so that could be a bullish candle as that represents sellers tried to break this support, but they were unsuccessful, and it is our resistance, or our support still, sorry. It did not have to become resistance again, like when we fell below it here. Our stochastic is coming down, wants to get a little bit of a bullish cross, so we may be open for a green candle tomorrow. Our RSI is overall getting lower highs, but so is our price, so just keep an eye on if it starts to weaken. Our momentum is in the bearish territory, but our VWAP is going toward that neutral zone, so if it can break through, we could push this momentum into some bullish territory on this higher time frame. Our money flow is pretty flat, struggling to get above the 6, so this will be a pivotal spot. If it starts to waver here, then we may not see that upside. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic is getting lower highs in this little bit of a range here. Price is getting slightly lower highs, but our stochastic's a little more exaggerated. About to get a bearish cross. RSI looks like it is weakening overall. We are trying to maintain our highs there, so that is somewhat decent. Momentum's getting a red dot and starting to curl. VWAP's about to break bearish. Our money flow is getting pretty close to testing that neutral area. We did kind of curl away from it a little while ago, so we'll have to see if we can maintain here. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic looks like it could get a bullish cross here. Our RSI is pretty flat though, so we do need that bullish cross, it looks like, for this RSI to kind of bounce up. Our momentum wants to get a little bit of a curl up here. Our VWAP is trying to curl, so if our VWAP can break through that neutral, we may see our momentum start to gain some strength. Our money flow is kind of wavering around right around at 8, so we'll have to see if that can gain some strength as well. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic is pretty beat down. Looks like we are about to get a bearish cross. RSI is overall losing strength and heading down. Our money flow is starting to round out. VWAP is breaking into the bullish territory, pushing our momentum with a green dot. However, it's not looking too strong right now, especially with this red candle. Over on Anchor, for the daily, we are trying to come back up to our value area low on our volume profile. So if we can reclaim this, that would be good. We are setting green candles, so that is good for the bullish momentum side. Stochastic is getting close to a bullish cross. RSI is trying to bounce up. Our momentum looks like it wants to round up. VWAP looks like it wants to break up. Our money flow is struggling to get through that neutral, but overall our other indicators are looking pretty decent, so hopefully that money flow is looking better on the lower time frames. Over on the 4 hour, money flow is getting close to breaking bearish, so watch out, because if it breaks here, we could see it push down on the daily, and those other indicators could start to round off. Our stochastic looks like we could round off. RSI is running up. Even though our stochastic could round off, it could stay bullish if we stay within this top range. Our momentum is running up pretty strong, but our VWAP is starting to weaken. So overall, we look like we could weaken, so I keep an eye on the next few candles for sure. Over on the 2 hour, if we can get the candles to appear decently there. Our stochastic is trying to run up, RSI is trying to run up, momentum's trying to get a green dot as our VWAP made a little bit of a bounce, but our VWAP's not looking too strong and that VWAP may start to roll over. So keep an eye on it. We do have this green dot trying to push us higher with that reversal, so that's why I say more with this setup. You'll see those good moves, kind of like here. Got a decent move. Could be set up for a decent move, but you're not always going to just run up just like we did before. Our momentum is looking kind of overbought. Our momentum was pretty overbought here, but we kind of cooled off. When we got those signals, we weren't quite as high as we are right now, so just keep an eye on that. Our RSI is trying to push higher, money flow is trying to ramp up, so we do have a few signals looking bullish. I just keep an eye on that VWAP. Over on the 1 hour, you can see we have a slight up channel, sort of. Stochastic looks like it could start to round off. RSI is looking like it could start to round off. Our momentum's getting slightly lower highs here, so we could have a bearish divergence forming. Money flow is starting to sharply come out. Our VWAP's starting to round out, so overall the 1 hour is not looking the strongest right now. Over on XRP, for the daily, we are trying to kind of bounce off this value area high still, so we want to maintain our strength. Don't know why this still looks so goofy. 1 second here. There we go, now that's a little better. Now you can see the candles easier. Our RSI is overall losing strength. Stochastic's trying to ramp up. Money flow is trying to maintain its strength. VWAP looks like it wants to break through that neutral, so we'll have to see if it can actually break through with some conviction. But with these red dojis, we may see a round off if we're not careful. Our momentum signaling we want to come up with a green dot, so we'll have to see if we can manage to bounce off and money flow can resume with some oversold momentum here. Our stochastic is trying to ramp up here on the 4 hour, but it's very tight. RSI is pointing down, money flow is starting to point down, VWAP is starting to curl out, and our momentum is probably about to break back down. So overall, the 4 hours looking a little worrisome as we could push down. Over on the 2 hour here, we are kind of just crabbing along, kind of like everything else. Stochastic is starting to push down. RSI is overall starting to round out and then it's pointing down. Momentum starting to round out. Our money flow did make a new high, but it looks like it's starting to round out. VWAP's about to break bearish, so that could bring everything else down. So I keep an eye on the next few candles for sure, kind of like everything else. We are looking a bit overbought currently. Stochastic is starting to push down, our RSI is starting to push down, momentum sky red down, pushing down, VWAP's breaking down pretty strongly, money flow's starting to come out. So the 1 hour we're looking pretty oversold too, and we're looking like we're coming down. So everything's looking pretty beat down. Over on Algo, we look like we're trying to ramp up, so we are trying to get some bullish momentum. We have this volume profile, we kind of bounced off, this is on the hour, so we're going to jump back to the daily, but that is a little hopeful for us. Over on the hour, you can see we broke through that point of control, so that is good for us. If we keep bullish momentum, our next stop would be the high value area, and we could see further upside from there if we're able to sustain green bullish momentum from there. Our stochastic looks like it wants to get a bullish cross, RSI looks like it wants to point up, our momentum looks like we could start to curl up as our VWAP wants to break through that neutral zone, and our money flow is kind of flat, so we'll have to see if that money flow can start to increase. Over on the 4 hour, I'd watch out, we have a little bit of a reversal as we're pumping up, so that could signal we may come back down. Stochastic's getting a little tight in this overbought area and could start to fall. Our RSI is trying to pump, money flow is trying to sustain itself, our momentum's trying to get higher and trying to ramp up, but our VWAP's looking like we could start to push away, so I'd just exercise some caution. Over on the 2 hours, Stochastic's trying to ramp up, our momentum's trying to push up, RSI is trying to push up, money flow is breaking bullish pretty decently, so this is pretty hopeful for us. Our VWAP is looking a little like it wants to waver, so if that VWAP starts to break down, we could see other things start to fall as well, but that money flow is looking pretty decent. Over on the 1 hour, money flow is maintaining bullish momentum, so the 1 and 2 hour bullish, if the 4 hour flips bullish for that money flow, which it is, we could see further upside. At 1 hour's in the bearish, so with those 1, 2, and 4 hour all in the green, we could see some pretty decent moves up ahead, and we may be able to reclaim some of these broken areas. Our VWAP is trying to push up on the 1 hour, momentum's trying to go up, RSI is trying to go up, stochastic's trying to go up, and our money flow is trying to round back up. So even though we're a little overbought, we look like we do want to continue a pump. Algo is pretty overbeat down comparative to some of these other coins, so it could pump while some of these other coins get a little bit of a dump. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.